This is a transformation of functions example. We're given this graph of y equals f of x in red, extending through these points from -2, 0 to 0, 3 to 4, -3 to 6, 0. And what's our goal? We're going to use various transformations to construct y equals -1/3 times f of x plus 1 minus 2. So we see horizontal shifts, vertical shifts, a shrinking factor, and a reflecting factor. So there's an order that is best used to construct a graph like this. So let's identify that. Do the horizontal shift first, then stretching or shrinking, then reflecting, and finally a vertical shift. So our first one is the horizontal transformation, the horizontal shift. So we see we have y is -1/3 f of x plus 1 minus 2. It's the x plus 1 here that is going to give us the horizontal shift. So the graph in red currently is y equals f of x. I'm going to graph y equals f of x plus 1. What is that going to do? Shift all of the points left 1 unit. So -2, 0 gets moved to -3, 0. 0, 3 gets moved to -1, 3. 2, 0 gets moved to 1, 0. 4, -3 gets moved to 3, -3. 6, 0 gets moved to 5, 0. So shifting all the units to the left, we see those points now. Connecting them up, we construct the graph of y equals f of x plus 1. There it is in blue. So blue is y is f of x plus 1. Red is y equals f of x. So now that we have this function, that was our horizontal shift. What is our next strategy? Well, according to our tools here, horizontal shift followed by stretching or shrinking. So we're here, the stretching or shrinking factor is 1/3. So the next thing I want to do is I want to look at 1/3 f of x plus 1. So what does that do? We're going to shrink the y values by that factor. So multiply the y values by 1/3. Well, this y value here at this dot is 0. 1/3 of 0 is 0. 1/3 of 3 is 1. 1/3 of 0 is 0. 1/3 of -3 is -1. 1/3 of 0 is 0. So indeed, shrinking those values by that factor, we get these points now. So that's our current function. That graph in green is y equals 1/3 f of x plus 1. And what do we want to do next? So we can go back to our rules. We took care of the horizontal shift to the left. We took care of the stretching, shrinking. So the next thing we need to do is need to do a reflection. So a reflection is either negative f of x or f of -x. Well, we currently have 1/3 f of x plus 1. We need -1/3 f of x plus 1. So that will be our shift, our reflection through the x-axis. So we're going to take all the y values and move them to the other side of the x-axis. Multiply them by -1, if you will. This current y value is 1. Multiplying it by -1 moves it down here. This current y value is -1. Multiplying it by -1 moves it up here to 1. The y values is 0, reflecting through the x-axis, are going to stay in the same position. So there they are, reflecting all of the y values, these dots, through the x-axis gives us these new dots, and then connecting those lines, you will see that we've reflected all of the points in that graph. So the green graph is y equals 1/3 f of x plus 1. The orange graph is y equals -1/3 f of x plus 1. So we've done the horizontal shift, we've done the shrinking by 1/3, and we've done the reflection by taking care of the negative sign, the negative of the function that we were given. So the last thing we have to do then, according to our list, is our vertical shrinking. Remember, this was our original goal. y equals negative 1/3 f of x plus 1 minus 2. We've done the x plus 1, we've done the 1/3, we've done the minus. The last thing we need to do is that vertical shifting, taking everything down 2 units. So where are we currently? This is our current graph. This is negative 1/3 f of x plus 1. We want negative 1/3 f of x plus 1 minus 2. So what is this going to do? Shift everything down 2 units. So this point moves down 2 units, so the new y value is negative 2. This one moves down 2 units, so the new y value is negative 3. Moves down 2 units, so the new y value is negative 1. Moves down 2 units, so the new y value is negative 2. So those are our points that we're using to guide us. Connecting those up, this purple graph is now negative 1/3 f of x plus 1 minus 2. And that was our goal. Our goal was to construct the graph of y equals negative 1/3 f of x plus 1 minus 2. So let's recap the entire process. We started with y equals f of x. Then what did we do? We did y equals f of x plus 1. What did that do? Shifted everything to the left 1 unit. We see that. Next, what did we have to do? We did 1/3 f of x plus 1. So what did 1/3 of f of x plus 1 do? It shrunk the y values by a factor of 1/3. So we see that process. What was our next one was to make that negative 1/3 of f of x plus 1. And that was a reflection through the x-axis. So changing the signs of all the y values is what we did there. And then the last thing that we did was negative 1/3 f of x plus 1 minus 2. What did that do? Can we see that process? What's happening to our points? All of the points are going down 2 units. And that's how we constructed the graph of y equals negative 1/3 f of x plus 1 minus 2.